Hello, friends. मैं हूं अवधेंद्र. Friends, today we got the news that United States of America allowed it to strike with long-range missiles to the Russian territory, allowed it to the Ukrainian forces. This is the news. Let us examine it. What does it mean? What impact it will bring to the war? The very defeat of the Biden administration in the election, actually, the defeat of the Kamala Harris in the election, and Trump won the election. And Trump made the comment that he will, as soon as possible, he will end the war in Ukraine as soon as he joins the office at the 20th of January. Approximate, his first agenda to end the war with Russia. Even though Mr. Trump talked with Russian President Vladimir Putin and he told him that Mr. Putin, don't go aggressive to Ukraine. Wherever you have achieved, the land in your control, you must have to hold it, and we will uh, develop a land peace deal. I have already told you about that in my previous videos. And he told that he will immediately cut off the Ukrainian financial support. Even he is very critical. Mr. Trump is very critical for the Ukrainian aid that he get from the US in 200 plus $1 billion they have received. And since Trump is against this war because this is not going to bring any fruit to the America, and Russia is not the immediate threat to the US. This is threat to the European Union. So that's why the Mr. Trump is always saying that European Union should step up its defense expenditure, since he is very critical because NATO has an article written that all the countries will uh, invest into the defense 2% of their GDP. So many countries in Europe is not uh, doing expenditure up to that level. So Mr. Trump is very critical to that. This is entire the picture I told you. So I don't want to emphasize on Ukraine. Ukraine is a proxy of Western nations, and since the regime changed in 2014 and afterwards, uh, the Ukrainian behavior that must be condemned. Uh, Ukrainian means the administration of Ukraine. Okay. So, question is, this long range missile system, do this uh, allowance by the US is by the frustration of Biden administration because they are going to go up from the office in 70 days, just 70 days left for their office term. So are they taking such decision by their frustration, or they want to prolong the war in other regions of Europe so that the chances of Trump to uh, go for the peace, you know, can be set aside. There is also a chance if the war goes any other states or somebody else, because Mr. Putin is saying that direct launch of Western weapons for long range will Russia will consider this act as a direct uh, involvement of the NATO forces, and they will, fight with the NATO. So this may can result into a strategic mistake, I would say that. So I don't know. Biden want to spread this war into other region, so Mr. Trump would have no option but to fight continue. I think this is the very important thing, and if everything goes well, there would be uh, positive results. Means positive. We have expectation that Mr. Trump will put everything down and peace will prevail. I saw the today the president and general secretary of NATO forces. NATO means the collective system, political and military system, uh, was roaming across the Russian border through the Poland and many other NATO forces. NATO forces expanding coming to the border with Russia. So they were uh, you know, living alongside the there was an exercise of war at the Russian border. This is going on still. So they are preparing for to launch the Russian, full-fledged war with NATO. I have a suspicion about this war. If they will definitely, flare up some sort of Russian forces to engage with uh, NATO forces, so that the war will prolong and spread into the NATO region, and then the full-fledged war will. And Trump would have no option but to fight with Russia. He will do not withdraw from, because the situation will look like such that there is a treaty of Article 5 in NATO, which says that one attack on aggression against one state will be considered aggression against all the states of 32, 33 members right now in the NATO defense shield. So this war will only spread such kind of activities done by the NATO forces. So I don't think this is a positive development, but I saw the uh, uh, press briefing, and that Mr. General Secretary of NATO was saying that Ukraine should talk or negotiate with the Russia at the position of strength. So that's why we need to launch the missile system into the Russian territory, so that the Ukrainian forces will acquire maximum territory, so that they will, you know, exchange with that territory to this territory. So they will settle their matter according to negotiation. But they should talk about the position of strength. He was telling. But in overall, in last line, on a disclaimer point, I want to say that nobody wants peace. The NATO forces do know that they are at the positive side of strength. And Russian influence, Russia, if disengages with China and India, particularly China, then Russia would be left alone. And they will crush them, Russia. It's my observation. But when it comes to China with the helping hand, so that's become the deterrence point. Okay, for the Western nations. Because China have the strength and capacity to fight with all the NATO if they are with the Russian forces, because both are the technologically advanced and capable enough to tackle the Western effect. So, for God's sake, uh, uh, we are obliged to be. It's my personal opinion that I am with the Russian forces. It's my full fledged support, but I don't support civilian casualties. But if the NATO forces expanding to the border with the Russia forces, this is illegal, illogical, and this threatens the Russian defense. So the Russia, what Vladimir Putin is saying, their uh, anxiety is legitimate. I do understand that. There is in in this world there is no collective defense system mechanism. We have, if you have the trust into the international bodies called as UNSC or various other mechanisms, UNGA, UN General Assembly kind of system, so you must have to trust if you have anything. You don't have to trust your muscles. You are expanding, coming to the Moscow border. So you are directly threatening the Russia. This is logic Russian telling is exactly uh, must be considered, and their anxiety is legitimate in my sense. Foreign Western nations do understand this. They have to understand this, the logic, but they don't understand. They supported Pakistan for what cause? F-16, F fighter jets they gave to uh, Pakistan, and he is saying that I gave it to Pakistan because of terrorism. Have they ever used this F-16 against Taliban? No, they gave it to Pakistan to balance the India's strategic balance here. Indians are not stupid. We know that. You are playing strategically. You topple the government in Bangladesh. Right now, there is a problem. You do it in every country. Because of your impact, US impact, there is in Pakistan there is no political stability. You topple government successively. You exploited their vulnerabilities through their various mechanisms, and they are right now the IMF. Dude, you never strengthen their uh, institutions. There means doesn't only the Pakistani, all the countries around the world. You play with their political system, being as a superpower, you call as. You have very important shit I want to make here that they have the media. And that media actually, uh, you know, creates uh, a system of information in which they manipulate actually entire world and they justify their actions. Okay, so media and their governance system, their media system, in which they only propagate their false propaganda. Okay, so they manipulate the people mindset of the people. They play with their emotions. Okay, they feel themselves the natives inferior. Okay, and stupid. Okay, I know that every Western media, even BBC and Reuters news channel, who are said to be very progressive in nature, they do propagate the false propaganda generated in office. There is nothing to fact on the ground. They do it deliberately. They play with the sense of, and in natives do understand this is the information that is they are consuming is actually right and healthy. But that information is very toxic. Misinformation, even disinformation, they manipulate informations according to their, they justify their misconduct, misdeeds through the media. And we still, in the developing nation, don't understand this. Whatever they are consuming the news from outside, they do understand that this is a fact. And they, even though they don't believe on their governments, they do believe that their government is speaking false, and the news that they are getting from outside is true. And they don't trust with their government. They topple their government. They rebel against their own government because large section of population don't know what exactly the political development of a state is, so that they get influenced by the external factors. External factor means actors. I'm saying this statement very exactly with my full knowledge. Most of the developing nations, they they know that they are inferior. First thing, their culture inferior, their language inferior. They are stupid people. These are the criteria. I want to tell you the quality, no characteristic. Okay, so and these developing nations don't those persons who don't speak much English in a good way. If do you speak English? If you language, English, in English you don't have such kind of fluency, then you are stupid. Okay, so native language speakers are secondary, tertiary. So this kind of system inferiority being installed into the natives, and they create it deliberately. Okay, I do know that this is a very uh, system the external factors create and delegitimize the system of my culture. Because my culture means the developing nation culture. They don't consider they are humans. They are the people who can be manipulated, uh, in, uh, can be played with their emotions. They do understand they are stupid. That's why they do it. Mr. Vladimir Putin was saying this statement. I'm not saying. He was saying at the thousands of gathering, Mr. Putin saying that within thousands of gathering there in Moscow, that the Western nations do understand that they are the civilized and rest are the barbaric world, where everybody is, I do, their inferiority in culture. They must have to follow their ideology, their visions. Okay, if anybody deviates from this, their uh, ideology and living style and their culture, they are a stupid and barbaric world. So Mr. Putin was saying, I do subscribe the idea, and I have also feeling since I'm this uh, from 2018 in the political sphere. I know that this kind of manipulation is happening. Somebody makes the false statement, misleads the, uh, play with the informations. They manipulate informations. They even create in their false informations to delegitimize the domestic government, and they topple it and they rebel against it just like they did Bangladesh. So this is I'm sharing with you. Please do consider it. Whatever the news you are consuming from various other sources, whoever saying that this is a fact news, etc., don't say that this is a fact. No, nothing is fact. This is everything is manipulated. This news is true in your eyes and your brain. This is not because of the truth is because you see it and your perception say it, this is right. That doesn't mean that it is politically fit for you, it is politically fit for me. Okay, so do you understand? First, understand this what suits you. Truth can be defined as a full truth, and half truth, or nothing truth. Truth must have to be, taken into consideration. Truth is not nothing. Truth is truth. Okay, in the words, nothing is truth. It doesn't exist. Okay, so do understand it. Not to get excited by the various other mechanism. Have to be conscious. ओके, हर चीज यहाँ इस दुनिया में ओवरऑल कह रहा हूँ झूठा है। किसी चीज पर विश्वास ऐसे नहीं करना है करके आप आंदोलन कर दें। मैं देख रहा हूँ कि हमारे मुजफ्फराबाद है, मुर्शिदाबाद है, ये वेस्ट बंगाल में, वहां पे अभी आंदोलन शुरू कर दिया लोगों ने। आंदोलन किया कि दो ग्रुप आपस में भिड़ गए। कोई कुछ बोर्ड पे लिख दिया था, उसी चक्कर में दोनों लोग भिड़ गए, है ना। हर जगह मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन की वजह से किसी ने कुछ लिख दिया तो लिख दिया है। अब अपने घर को जला दोगे? नहीं, तुम भी लिख दो कुछ जो मन करे, लेकिन इस तरह की वायलेंस ठीक नहीं है ना। लिखना उखना चलता रहता है।